Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you've got a wonderful day planned, doing all sorts of different bits and pieces whilst watching us here, because you don't want to miss out on what we're going to be having here, because we've got the boss in, and you know what that means. We're going to have amazing demos. You know, she knocks all those demos out of the park with her speedy demos, incredible demos and incredible deals that we're going to be having for you all day long. We've got a first look first of all today, and this is Sara's first look, which again is going to be quite exciting. We've got some incredible items to show you, and I always like doing these little previews so you can whet your appetite as to what's going to be coming on next week. We've got two separate first looks to show you today, so we're really spoiling you. We're not just doing one, we're doing two, because of course Sara is here today. Good morning, Sara, how are you?
Well, they said to me it's first look on Tuesday. Why don't you do, because I'm in the early part of next week, and then I go down to QVC because I've got shows at QVC in their studios on Wednesday night and Thursday, and then I'm actually flying straight to the States because I'm going to HSN from London. So I'm not here next week at the back end of the week. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, but I'm not going to be here back end of the week. So on Friday we're going to be doing these amazing new corner dies. So they said, why don't you do the first look for them, Sara, seeing as you won't get to do them next week? And I said, brilliant idea. But then also I'm so excited, Becky, about the launch that I've got on Tuesday. I was like, well, we've got 2 hours. Can we not just do an hour on one and then an hour on the other? And of course, no one dares say no to me. So we've got like a double trouble first look.
Why not? Why not? And they are absolutely fantastic first looks that we've got for you today. Do remember, we've got our double discount deal on happening. So we're just giving stuff away practically. We are giving you a discount, and then you're getting another discount on top of that. And of course, you can use our Club Inspire discount as well. So actually, you know, you're ending up saving far more than you're actually paying out, which is always a great deal. We've also got secret sale. Secret sale. Can you hear me? Secret sale. Don't tell anyone. But if you go to the website and you type in last chance into the search bar, you will see loads of deals that are coming up. Not as many as there were initially because you've been shopping there, but you've been taking full advantage of those fantastic prices. And there are so many different types of things in there. Whether you're a seasoned crafter, whether you're just starting and you're wanting to build your stash there is a whole plethora of bits and pieces for you to pop into your baskets. So take full advantage of that throughout today. Loads of people are messaging in to say hello. I just want to know what people are getting up to on a Sunday. And I think we must take the opportunity, because Sara's in, why don't you take the opportunity to message in and show us what you've been doing? Show Sara what have you been making. Maybe you've started a new craft this year and you're just sort of getting into it and you want to show us what you've achieved. Yesterday we had a fantastic guest on the craft along, Lisa, who had only been sewing for about a year. She showed us all the things she's made. The first thing she ever made was a dress. Talk about starting from the top. Was really impressive. So send in some photos of maybe crafts that you've just started, or things you want Sara to see, things you want any of us to see. It's always good to see your pictures. We've got Sarah Brown in. Hello again, Becky and Sara, sending you both hugs from Melbourne, Australia. It's now 8 p.m. here, hoping everyone is doing well. Is Sarah sitting, is Sarah sitting in her bed drinking hot chocolate with Baileys again like she was the other night? That's what I reckon she probably is.
Oh yeah, so on Friday when we were here at the same time, she was like, I'm sitting drinking Baileys hot chocolate. Boom, woman after our own heart.
We really wanted to do that, didn't we? Definitely, that's a good thing to do. Charlotte Everett says, good morning, all my crafty lovelies from here in Herne Bay. Lois says, is in Gamma 5203. And that's Janet D, sorry. That's Pamela, says hello, Zoe Carver. Lynn Harvey says, hi, Sara, Becky, the amazing CTV team and the wonderful social superstar and everyone. I hope everyone is well and enjoying their day. We're having a great day here because we've started the way you should always start a Sunday, with a sausage sandwich. And later on, we are going to be celebrating the fact that it's afternoon tea week. And Sunday's the start of the week, isn't it? So we've got to have afternoon tea. Why not? I just think, I know Debbie was disappointed that she wasn't in for afternoon tea. Michelle says, can't wait to see what this first look is. And Julia says, good morning. Melanie, Shelley, Kirsty D, Carolyn, loads of you messaging in. Right, we're going to show you what we've got in the first item. This is our set of stamp and die sets, and these are very Halloween-y. I don't know Craig's little song that he sings, but he has got a special little Halloweeny song. You've got that gorgeous Wicked Witch. You've got a whole set of different dies and stamps there. And then you've got your pumpkin spice. Great for sort of autumnal parties you might be going to, Thanksgiving, all of those sorts of things. These are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they, Sara?
They are. Now, this is the big launch that I'm going to be doing on Tuesday in launch day, but I'm determined that I'm going to spend this first hour getting through a demo with each of the two in the kit, okay? So, first of all, you've got your Wicked Witch's hat, right? Now, with all of our shaped card bases like this, Becky, when we do them, we actually make the dies thicker than regular dies.
Oh, okay.
So they can cut through multiple layers of card at once. So what you're going to be able to do, you're going to be able to use the outer die to cut through multiple layers, but then with this, we've just crammed it full. So I'll show you the demos that I'm going to be doing today, but I'll also give you a little sneak peek of some of the ones I'm going to be doing on Tuesday. So this here is how if you're using it as a creator card and you want to cut through 2 layers, you can see there this is a whole card that is the shape of the Wicked Witch's hat with the little booties on the bottom. They're fabulous to colour as well. Now, the one that I'm going to be doing today, I thought instead of doing a double card, let's go whole hog and do a triple. So I'm actually going to show you how we connect them together and do a big triple card like this.
Wow,
Isn't that amazing, right?
Yeah.
So that's a triple card. But then, I have got it over here, I'm going to run and get it. If you're with me on Tuesday, I'm going to show you, I've actually got my demos here ready to go. Let me just get this one out of the packet ready, right? I'm going to show you how we do the Wicked Witch's hat as a shaker card.
Oh.
It's actually a 2-part shaker card, that one. So that's what I'm going to be doing on Tuesday as well. And I'm going to be making the little box, and we're going to be doing a twisted easel. So can you see it goes flat on there, but it's a twisted easel on the lid of the box, and the box also has her little feet hanging out of there as well. So I've got some really fun, cute Halloween projects lined up. Like I said, the one I'm going to do for you this morning now is I'm going to show you how to do the triple fold one. But then there's so many, I mean, all these different ideas. Use them big on the front of a card, use them to do your twisted easel cards with, or just go nice and simple and you can do just where you're creating the shaped card base from it, okay?
Gorgeous.
So that is the Wicked Witch, right? And I'll show you here again, these are all the dies that are in that set. So now you've seen them, you kind of understand it. You've got the big witch's hat itself, and then you've got all those individual components. And of course, it's not just dies, because it's dies and stamps. So these are the stamp sets that are going to make you the matching bits that go with the stamps, right? Then the second set doesn't have to be Halloweeny, just nice for fall. Okay? Now, we only did one launch for Halloween last year and you guys went mad. It sold out in minutes. I think it was a 3-minute sellout on HSN when I launched it, right? So this one is all about having the dies to create these beautiful shaped pumpkins. Now, I'm going to be showing you today how we make this into a lovely easel card. So folds flat, going to stand up, shaped easel card in the shape of a pumpkin, right? Next week on Tuesday, we're going to build on what we learned today and actually learn how to make a double pumpkin easel card, right? So again, they will all fold down flat like this, go nicely in the envelope, but then as you stand them up, you can see there's not just the one pumpkin, you've actually got little different sizes of pumpkins on there as well. Now, just some other ideas of what you might want to do with that die, right? Brilliant if you're wanting to make little treat boxes, right?
Nice, isn't it?
Love this idea. So this is just a little square box that's been made, and then the pumpkin stuck to the front and side with a little handle on the top there. So it's actually super easy to do, but looks absolutely brilliant, right? Or use them just big to decorate your card. Now, I love this colouring. Might have to do a little bit of this. Might not get to it today, but might do some in the full launch day. How you get this shading on the pumpkin like that. So that's all done with your tri-blend brush pens. Look amazing, all right? So those are the two die sets. I'm going to work on the pumpkin one first, and then a little bit later in the show, we'll also do the witches, that 3-way witches hat. But yeah, I'd love to know what you all think of them.
I think they're gorgeous. Love them. Really like all those. I think there's something really cute about a pumpkin, isn't there? There's a nice sort of smooth skin of a pumpkin. Lots of people are messaging in to say hello. Wendy says, these are amazing, Sara. Sandra Dundas says, morning, Sara, Becky, CTV crew, social media superstar and all my crafty chatty chums. Michelle says, great samples as always. all the samples are always incredible. I'm always absolutely wowed by them. Now, I always, if I'm watching a show and I really like what's coming up, I tend to it's almost sort of screenshot when I see all the samples. So then when I get my items back, I can remember what show I've watched and what they're on, and then I've got a little way of remembering what kind of samples I want to do. Michelle says, I love the blue pumpkin. It reminds me very much of Cinderella. Because I think it's that Cinderella blue, isn't it?
Nice.
And she did have a pumpkin, didn't she? Her carriage turned into a pumpkin. We have to say hello to Brenda. So good morning, Sarah, Becky and my crafty pals. I'm at home with staples in my knee. So I'm just watching and not crafting for a few days, but we're hoping you're feeling a little bit better and it's not too painful. Really good to just be able to sit down and watch and relax. So take plenty of rest.
Know that you're with friends who are sending their love.
Exactly, exactly. Now we have got a few photographs that people have sent in, are doing some crafting here. So this is Diane's son who's doing his very first Christmas card.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, do you know, are they using them penguins? The ones that you had on Softicide yesterday?
They are, yes.
Amazing.
They are gorgeous.
I love that. Oh, I love getting all the family crafting. Look at that. Looking amazing.
That looks really good. They are gorgeous little multimedia dies. We are going to get started in just a moment, but just remember, if you want to send anything to show Sarah, because Sarah's in all day today, please do send in your photographs. Do let us know what you're getting up to. If you've got a new craft that you've just started on, perhaps you want to share that with everybody else. Maybe get some ideas. Put in the comments that you're starting something. There is such a wealth of knowledge from our viewers, as well as all of the craft experts here. If you're struggling with something, there's no silly questions. And we always have to remember, we do sometimes have new viewers who've never watched us before. If you're thinking, well, what's a mat and layer? I don't understand what that is. What are you talking about? What's a tripod? Message in, ask us the questions, and take the opportunity to pick Sarah's brains while she's here.
Right. I am happy to have my brains picked, any amount that you like. I'm going to start with these shaped cards. We're going to do the first hour on the shaped cards, guys, and then we're going to move to the second hour on those corner dies. But I'm going to start with this pumpkin. Okay, so this is, for those who are brand new, this is what we call an easel card. So an easel card is one that folds down flat to go in your envelope, but then it's going to stand up and stand proud when it's on the mantelpiece like this. Now, I always like to, if I'm writing in them, I like to leave a little bit of space in there so that I can write my note in there. You can obviously make custom shape envelopes to fit these in if you want, custom size envelopes, but the shaped card blanks that we do are brilliant for easel cards because these dies are made to be a little bit thicker than regular die so that they can go through multiple pieces of card. So, to do an easel card, okay, you're going to need, to do the pumpkin one, I'm starting with a sheet of A4, and this is my A4 in my craft card, and you basically need 1.5 sheets, because what you do is the first one folds in half, and we're going to use our pumpkin die, and we're actually going to cut it over the fold. Now, you don't need to waste this much card when you're doing this at home, guys. It's just because I want to show you how I've taken it from a sheet of A4. So can you see that I've got my pumpkin on here, Becky? Yeah. I'm going to pop that in place, hold that in place with a little bit of tape, and then we can send it through. Now, whilst I'm cutting this, there's also some other bits that you might want to cut. So can you see we've got little pumpkins, we've got the top of the pumpkin that you might want to go through, so I can pop that on there as well. I can pop my little pumpkin on here too. I think I'll just cut them two for now on this one, and we might cut some extras on the next sheet. So I'm going to use these, I'm going to pop them through the Gemini, even though they're a thicker die, it's the same sandwich, so we're going on your clear plate. Now, don't worry about the fact that this is leaning over the edge, as long as the bit that you want to cut is on there. We're then going to go with my, so you've got your cutting plate, your clear plate, which is like your frosted one, if you're using the other Gemini. You're going to put your magnetic plate, your top plate on here, and then this is ready to go through. Now, usually I'd tell you to worry if your die was sticking out. If you're using your Gemini 2, doesn't matter, because it's obviously going through in your openings wider. Got my glide feet on my Gem 2 so that it'll easily pass through Becky, and I can move this round. Instead of moving me to the machine, I can move the machine to me, right? And then you see I lift these off, and you can see already how that has gone. That's really sticky tape. That has gone through 2 layers of that cardstock, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then this is my main die here. This is also cut through 2 layers and embossed them. So I'll get this tape off there. So these are all little pieces that I can be using on my other project, on the rest of my project, right? I'm going to do the same now. I want my piece of cardstock here. I want I want my full pumpkin this time. I think I'm going to cut the smaller pumpkin. And do you know what? Let's just cut a few of these. It won't hurt, will it not? We'll get a few of these cut out. Use all of the cardstock so we're not wasting anything. Again, I'm going with my clear. I'm going with my magnet. Oh, do you know what's a good tip? Might take this time to share this with everyone. If you're doing a full sheet like this, use your magnetic. Because if you use your magnetic, look at this, nothing's going to move. All right, so I've got all of these positioned. And then all I'm making sure I do is that my piece of card is covering all of that over. And you put your tape, you stick the card to the base instead of sticking the dies to the card, right? Now, I need to make sure this is under here because you need the same plate in the sandwich. You just might want to change the order, all right? So as long as you're always cutting into the cutting plate, and again, I'm going to send that through. So that is all of the base cutting that we need to do. And then I'll show you how quickly and easily the whole card will come together, right?
Okay.
Now, there
As
we go.
they're thicker dies, could you use them for felt?
Oh, yes, they would work wonderfully well with felt. Look at Becky, you see, always thinking about the soft craft stuff.
I am always.
Right, so there's all of my dies. This can come off and go in there. Right, that's the other good thing about First Look. I forget we don't have to be as fast as when we're on the main show. We take our time, can't we? Right, so here we go. This is your pumpkin one now, right? When you want an easel card, we need to score this in half. So this, when I pop this up against here, is about roughly 10 centimetres. So we want it at the 5 centimetre mark, all right? So I'm going to score at my 5 centimetre mark here. Give it a fold over. And you'll see that'll fold. It'll fold back the other way. And that is going to give us our little stand like that, right?
Okay.
So that there is ready for our pumpkin to go onto the front of here. And there we go, we've got that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little bit of, actually I'm not going to use tape, I'm going to use all purpose because we've got the time to let it dry on here, right? So I'm going to put all purpose because it's a nice strong stick. So we're going to get it all over there. We can manoeuvre, oh, don't want you on there, can manoeuvre this top place into position. And if you're not quite happy, you see, you've got that little bit of manoeuvrability time to make sure that glue's all over the back. And that is really, really well stuck. So that's going to be the base of our pumpkin. Now, I want to do something a little bit different to go on the front, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of sheets of patterned paper, right? This is just from our plaid paper pack, this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that die again, Becky. I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to stick these pieces of paper over the top. I'm going to cut into there, and I'm going to show you how we can shape it into like a different, well, if you look at the finished card, can you see it's got like multiple layers within the background of the pumpkin?
Oh, yes, of course.
So I want to show you how we're going to do the multiple layers in the background. So you need to start off with having these all cut. So there's one, there's my other one. And then just with the scissors, I want you to follow the kind of shape that we've got from here, all right? Now I'm right-handed, so I like to cut onto my right. So I'm going to follow this shape round onto the right like this, all right? Following that shape round onto the next piece, can you see? And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to turn it round because I can cut the curvature onto my right hand like this. So there's that one there. And then I'm going to do the same with this next one. And that is all the pieces of my pumpkin, but it's being cut up. And I'm going to do that with the other colour. So there's enough to do kind of 2 pumpkins here, but I want to alternate the colours so that it just gives you a little bit more depth and dimension. You'll see what I mean in a second when we start and colour them ready to go in. Doesn't matter if they're not all exactly the same. It'll give you the sort of idea, all right?
You wouldn't have thought using plaid for the pumpkins would work, but it absolutely does, doesn't it?
It works really well, doesn't it? And then I'm going to use a little bit of like a dark blue, and I'm going to, we can cover off some nice techniques here for blending, right? So, put my ink down, taking most of it off, right? And then I'm going to start, now watch what we do, take most of it off, and then I'll see how George can get nice and close, right? I'm going to move this, and I'm taking my pumpkin part to where I'm doing the inking, right? So I'm keeping all of my ink in one place, right?
Okay.
So I'll move the next part in, just colouring round the edge there, but I'm always bringing a little bit more ink from the bits that I've got ready. So this is all ink up now, bringing a little bit of it, deepening around the edge. I'm not putting ink all over here. It's because I don't want to get ink all over. I don't want to make a huge mess. But you can see there just what a difference it's making having that little bit of ink on here, all right? So all the way around with the first one. There we go. And then I'm probably going to want a little bit more ink as well for the second one, right? So I've got there, Becky, all of these 5. I'm going to do the same again, just pick up a bit of ink, take off the excess, so that all I'm doing is bringing this round and just colouring all of this, right? Now, it's things like this that it's lovely to have the chance. Look at the difference to that. Isn't that amazing, the difference?
Amount of difference.
And it's these sort of little hints and tips that we don't always get time to talk about when we're really busy on the big launch day shows. But if you know, we've got plenty of time today. So if there's anything where you've struggled with, you maybe struggle with your matting and layering or your inking around the edges, and you want a few hints and tips, let us know in the comments today. And I'm happy to pick up anything and kind of cover off any techniques today.
What type of ink pad is it? Is it a water reactive one?
Brilliant question. I should have explained that. Yes, any sort of distressing like this, you want your water reactive, because it's got what's called a longer open time. So it means your ink doesn't dry as quickly. So like a quick dry ink is the opposite of that. Right. So you don't want your ink to dry quickly because you want time to manoeuvre it into place, right? Now, once you get to that stage, always just have a wipe, right? Now, we always just have some little wipes like this just to clean up, but it's so much easier. Have your wipe to hand so that you're not creating mess. You don't want to get blue on everything else now, okay? And then all I'm going to do, Becky, is I'm going to pop this down, and you basically want to just plenty of glue down again, and I'm going to start and layer up. And I'm going to start with the outside and work my layers into the inside, but swapping them over with the other, like alternating the different colours in here.
Okay.
There you go. But happy to take, as long as everybody can see what I'm doing, happy to kind of take comments or questions at this point, or if anybody's come in, let us know what everyone's been saying.
Oh, everyone's loving it. Kim says, do you always use the magnetic plate when die cutting?
Yes, you always use the magnetic plate when you're die cutting with regular thin metal dies. You don't use them if you're doing it with your multimedia dies. Okay. But yes, for thin metal dies you do, even if you use the sandwich in a different order, as you've just seen me doing there.
Okay. Wendy Woodhouse says, these dies are such fun, great to use with the kids as well. They're quite big, the pieces. I was quite surprised when you actually see the finished samples, they're quite significant. They're not small dies, are they? You know, they're going to get a decent size card out of these. Paul Prince ×4 says, good morning everyone from South Carolina. Sarah's Creation says, CC has a lot of new Halloween stuff coming. I saw the stuff on the scrapbooks. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Everyone's loving the pumpkins, especially plaid pumpkins. I think that looks really good. And of course, with the other plaid pad, you had all the yellows and the pinks and the oranges, sort of more traditional kind of pumpkin colours. But I love this. I think it makes it really pop having that blue, and it works so well.
It's nice, isn't it?
Do you get blue pumpkins? You might well get blue pumpkins. You don't know.
In Sara Land, you can have whatever colour pumpkins you want.
Who knows? Have you seen a blue pumpkin? If you have, find a photo of it for us, please. Brenda says, I'm having a Halloween party, so the box will be great to put forfeits in.
Oh, very nice.
How does that work then? You have a party and then people have to do forfeits, or how does that work? What do they have to do? Do they have to do like apple bobbing? And then if they don't do very well with the apple bobbing, they have forfeits? Let us know, Brenda. I'm intrigued to find out.
We're all ears, Brenda. We want to know more.
Absolutely.
To know more.
That looks gorgeous.
There's a lovely base bit. Now, I want you to do exactly this. Oh, let's put the top on before we do the next bits. Watch this. I'm going to take, now I want a dark colour. I might go with a little bit of the blue and maybe a little bit of the brown. Actually, the blue's looking quite good there. Yeah, so I'm just putting a bit of colour onto here like this, and then a bit of the brown round there as well, just to give this nice, like a top part onto the pumpkin now. And you see that is going to go underneath there. So I'm going to stick for this one, I'm going to go tape to tape. I'm going to go tape along the back here. I'm going to go tape along the front of here so that we get tape onto our tape here, and that gives it a nice solid base stick. See, I'm just rubbing off the excess there that we don't need, and then that's going to give me a nice top piece of the pumpkin, right? Now I'm going to use, let me just get a new little thing. I'm going to use this, I'm going to just again colour around the outside of this. As soon as you start adding a little bit of distressed colour like this, just makes such a difference and really looks super professional.
It does.
Right?
Really
So
finishes it off.
a bit of inking around the edge, right? So I've got a nice bit of inking around the base. And then we need a stopper to hold it up. So I've just got a couple of little bits that I've die cut here. So I've done a nice base in the same. Oh, let's give that a little bit of an ink. Everything looks so much better with a bit of an ink, doesn't it? So that can have an ink in that colour. And then this can have an ink in the brown as well. Yeah,
I've got some exciting news.
Oh, go on.
There are blue pumpkins.
There are blue pumpkins.
There are blue pumpkins.
Excellent. I knew we were okay for that.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a natural colour that we're using here. Yeah, our blue pumpkins, you can Google them. I've just seen them. They actually look very nice.
Oh.
Maybe have to get those for Christmas. Probably not Christmas, but for Halloween this year. I do have more questions.
Go on.
Actually.
I can take questions.
Yep.
Even if they're not about this, as long as everyone can see what I'm doing, I can be putting my card together and taking the questions.
So Lynn Morton says she'd like to have a back to basics class. Is it wrong for me to want a back to basics class? I can't be the only person that doesn't know where to start and won't ask. Not everyone's been crafting for years. I think that's a really good idea.
Do you know what? What things do people want us to cover in Back to Basics?
Yeah.
If you start giving me a list, guys, I will. Do you know what I was saying? I was just on with the September schedule. We talked about this on Friday, right? So I'm on doing the September schedule at the moment, and we've got a little bit of time in the schedule at the end of September and the beginning of October. So how about you let me know, what am I looking for? Some foam pads here. You let me know what it is that you want to see, and we can get those scheduled in now while we're doing all of the planning.
Okay, brilliant. That sounds great. Do let us know. Next question is, this is from Kelly, how do you know if it's a thin metal die?
It'll say on the packaging.
Oh, right, excellent.
Yep. So you're just going to keep an eye out on the packaging. Basically, our multimedia dyes, the ones that are super thick for fabric, are the ones that are going to come in multiple. They're going to come in like a rose gold finish. But anything that's in our silver are our thin metal dyes. And it's the same. If it's thin, even though this is made to be a little bit thicker to go through multiple layers, it's still the same sandwich. So you don't need to worry about as long as it's silver, you're going to add in that magnetic sheet.
Okay.
Now, this here, Becky, just to let you know,
yeah,
you've got this lovely sunflower dye, right? So I've done quite a few whereby what I've done is I've cut out several of these sunflowers. So I've got loads laid up here. And then you've got the middle bits to the sunflowers, which I've done in some of that craft card again. And I'm going to use that to create a few little florals around here.
Nice.
You've also got these leaves. So I've die cut a few of these leaves out of there as well. So I'm going to create a little bit of a feeling around here. And then, because my word, we have passed already and I need to do my witch's card. I was taking my time, being all nice and slow. Watch what I've done though. These dies here. So you saw me cut them into the craft card. We cut quite a few, didn't we?
Yeah.
In the different sizes. If you cut the craft card and the blue card, watch what you've got. You've got the die in the craft and in the blue, and I'm going to layer them up together and I'm going to pop them on the front of my card. So everyone kind of knows what I'm going with, which means we can keep talking about the other stuff and you're not thinking, what's she doing? What's she doing? You're all right, we can chit-chat again.
Oh, I love the fact that you're using craft card with this, because I think it's a really underrated card and I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favourite cards, I have to say.
Craft card to work with, I love it.
Yeah, really nice. Next question is from Crafty Stacey Lou. question, and it's so basic, but I forget. There are no silly questions here. We all have to start somewhere, and I quite often forget things, what my name is, all that sort of thing. When scoring card, which way do you fold the card without breaking the fibres? I keep forgetting.
Always score the way you, always fold the way you score.
Right.
So if I just show you here, right, this is how you need to think about it. When you've got a piece of card, all the fibres are knitted in together, right? When we run the scoring tool over there, what it does is it bends the fibres, right? So this is the one that's being given more pressure, right? So then what you need to do is you need to fold it around like that so that where you've expanded the fibres, so where you put the score line, always fold the score line round and you'll get a nice neat cut. If you think of it like this, if you've got the fibres, right, you score it, this is what happens to the fibres underneath. Soon as you try and bend it away from itself, you can see the fibres cracking, can't you? So always put the score line and then fold it away from itself. If you need it the other way, once you've folded it and burnished it, then you can fold it back and it's all fine.
Right, oh, I didn't know that.
There you go.
All these questions, all these answers. Karen says, I do fondant characters and now I'm trying to attempt to make them in clay. But my new craft I found was when I found Crafters, which gives me more tools and tutorials to do. Cards, boxes to go with the figures and the ink pads and the pens so I can colour the clay. Thank you to all the presenters and the team at CC. I'd like to see a picture, I think. I think I'd like to see a picture of what you've been making.
I would love to see some pictures.
Hannah Gosling-Smith says, Sara, is there not going to be a QVC preview like there's been in the last couple of times?
There is indeed. It's going to be happening on Tuesday, folks.
Excellent.
So Tuesday in the morning. Tuesday, I believe it's 10 o'clock. 10
Brilliant.
till 12.
And the last question I've got so far is, Sara and Becky, what is the best way to store ink pads and Spectrum Noir sparkle and glitter pens, please?
Okay, so with your ink pads, you want our ink pad storage trays because you can be nice and organised. With your Spectrum Noir pens and pencil, the aqua pens, pop them in our
sparkle and
pens,
glitter.
Pop them in our trays.
Right.
Pop them in our pen trays and then you can see exactly what it is you're working with.
Fantastic.
That's always my recommendation.
Thank you very much for that. And do get your questions in. If any questions, as we said, everyone's got to start somewhere. Any question is a good question. If you have got any suggestions about the kind of shows you'd like to see us doing, do take advantage of that. We are going to be doing a foil press show in September, but there may be other things.
Yes, and that was because you guys requested it on Friday.
Absolutely.
It just shows you we're kind of always listening. Right, so if there's something specific you want to see, like I said, I'm working on the schedule at the moment for September, so hence I was able to plan that straight in for September for you.
Excellent. Good to take advantage of while you're here.
Yes, make the most of it. You've got me all day today as well, guys. So a big double discount week, you know, I wanted to be in there to finish off. I also want to make some awesome cards this morning in the hope that I might get lucky later today. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, hashtag just saying. Well, may the best woman win, is all I can say. May the best woman win. The gloves are off, Becky.
No pressure, but Becky, if you win, Sara's never going to talk to me again.
Yeah. So, yeah, no pressure. Right, a couple of these swirls I'm just adding on, Becky, just to kind of give the card a lovely finishing touch.
You get those kind of swirls with a pumpkin, don't you, when they're growing and have these kind of like
look lovely, don't
bits.
they? So little scraggly bits on there, just add nice little finishing touches. That is going to stand up there, and that is my lovely little pumpkin card, all coming together there.
Gorgeous.
I love it. And if you just kind of tuned in partway through, guys, this is a first look of the show that I'm doing on Tuesday. And there's two dies in this collection. There's the pumpkin die and also the Wicked Witch die. I'll let Becky show you all of them because I'm going to get ready and demonstrate something with the Wicked Witch die next.
Okay, fantastic. One further question before you come to me. Anne asks, what's the reason for using the glue in the tube?
So here, because I didn't need to be precise with where I was applying it, when I need to be precise, I put this into a syringe, right? When I just need a couple of big globules, I just go straight from the tube like this, just for convenience and speed. And what you do need to do, which I was just doing there, is when you get to the end, just give it a little bit of a squeeze so that you've got a little bit coming out of the top like that. You don't need quite as much as that out, right? And then put the lid on like that, because then what happens is there's no air left in the tube. We've squeezed all the air out. Any air in there, and that air is going to harden that glue in the tube. So make sure you always squeeze a little bit out so you've got no air in the tube. And this, as it says on the tin, this is our 3D glue. So when you want this, so notice when I was doing my matting and layering, I was using the all-purpose, so that was for your flat sticking. This is when I wanted the card. When you look at it from here, you can see those little pumpkins were a little bit 3D. I've rounded them on the front. I want the the sunflower lifting up a little bit. I needed this bit popping up so that it would form a stopper for my card. Whatever you need 3D. I'm a fan of 3D glue over foam pads because it's so much quicker and you don't need to peel the backs off, right? Our Craig loves his foam pads. Different people have different ways they like to do it. I love the 3D glue gel for any 3D work, but it does need about 15-20 minutes to harden, and then I leave it overnight to go really hard.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And as everyone is messaging in, that is an absolutely beautiful sample. These are our first look at these dies. So we've got two launches to let you know about in First Look that are going to be happening next week. This is the first one we're showing you. So this is the Wicked Witch, a die and stamp set. And then we've also got, one way around, Wicked Witch. And then a Pumpkin Spice, which you've just seen Sara making those fantastic demos with. And these are absolutely beautiful. To show you on the boards exactly what you're going to be getting, you've got a wealth of metal here. We've really sort of taken it to town and made sure you've got all sorts of different embellishments on here, as well as all these stamps. Being able to make a whole card, as Sara showed us earlier on, but we're going to be seeing next week how to use these to make a shaker card and for all sorts of other ways. I mean, it's very sort of Dorothy, this kind of idea with these little feet, isn't it? Quite like the idea of making a box that looks like a house and then having these sticking outside, yeah. So just like Wizard of Oz, if anyone's a fan, maybe you've got tickets for Wicked and you want to pop them inside a nice box.
Love that show.
I think it's a great show, isn't it? I don't think I'd want to wear the makeup though. This one is your pumpkin, and this is so gorgeous. You've got also those little vines in there, as well as all those little tiny pumpkins. One of the messages that came in was asking whether there were any lines along this big pumpkin. There aren't any lines on this pumpkin. Sara was doing it freehand, but you can see on these ones, you do have little lines, so you can make them little, yeah. You do have the stamps, yes. You could do it that way. Yeah, you can absolutely do your own lines. And then you've got your stamps down here as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I am so looking forward to these coming out on Tuesday. Seeing all the other samples and demos that are going to happen. And as with all of the demos and samples we have, the design team really do a fantastic job because they are just gorgeous. You can see them just to the side of Sara. We've got so many beautiful glittery pumpkins. I love the idea of doing that pumpkin in blue, particularly as I now know you can get blue pumpkins, but really great way of using that plaid paper, and I think lots of us bought that plaid pad, didn't they? We've got a few more pictures that have come through from people showing us the kind of crafting that they're doing. So this first one is a Kirsty. I saw this one on Facebook this morning, actually. I did, with that little gnome caravan. So I love that gnome caravan. It's one of my favourite stamps. And I think you've got Svetlana just there. This is Kirsty's niece, Isabel. I think that was her first card that she'd made, that one there.
Lovely.
And how clever. Really well done. Good colouring, good composition. You go top to the class, I think, here. And then we've got another one. Can't quite see the... Is that, what is that? Is that a teacup? Teacup. She loves using the tri-blends, and I think there's so much information and work. You can look back and watch other shows. You can see how we've used those tri-blends. Lots of ways of using them. Next one is from Linda. This was a craft along that she followed to make this card with that little crazy dancing penguin, and that was at the punny. Was that punny stamps? No, it was penguins that have just come out, wasn't it? Yeah, that dancing penguin. That is gorgeous. And is this the inside of the card? Wow, that's incredible. That's really impressive.
Wow, that isn't hard. Linda, I love it.
Yeah, I might have to look back and watch that craft. Impressive. Well done, Linda. Like that. We're going to have a look at a few others. So do make sure you get your photographs in. We're going to be going back to some photographs because we've got some of those later because we want to get back on with some of the demos and some of the messages that people have been putting in. Lois says, I love this card. It's so very pretty and very festive. Thank you, Sara. Lynn Harvey So that's an awesome card.
We'll have to come down from Facebook and YouTube and restart. So we're just going to lose you for a couple of seconds. Please, please, please don't go anywhere. And I won't start the next demo until I know we've got everybody on. But we'll just have to disappear for a second and then we'll see you in a couple of, like 2 minutes tops, guys. But make sure you click back on.
Hello everybody, as we said, we'll be back. And we're back again. So we're looking at first look and we're doing two different first looks. We're doing the first one over here, which is the Halloween, which is the Wicked Witch and the Pumpkin Spice Stampin' Dies. And then we're going to do another one when the next hour starts, which is all the Christmas corner dies that you can see over here. So we're going to get straight back into the demo with Sara. We're going to see what you're going to be making next.
Yes, so I did say we would do the pumpkins and then also the Wicked Witch's hat, right? Now, this is using it as a traditional kind of create a card folded in half, 2 cards as it was. However, what I'm going to do is go one better and I'm going to do a triple fold card. So I'm going to show, first of all, we're going to create one of these and then I'm going to show you how we connect them all together to do a little 3-way card like this and do your extra little, well, it's like a little zigzag card, isn't it?
Great.
So this is what we're going to do, okay? So the die set itself, this is it here. And you can see there, Becky, we've got the witch's hat, right? Then you've got her boots on here. We're going to need 2 of her boots. She's got the left one and the right one, right? Yep. And then you've got, these are her little legs. Right, so those are going to be our little stumpy legs. Everything else is decoration, right? So all these other pieces, that's going to be the middle part of a hat. You can see you've got all these dots and stars and the buckles and everything like that. So I'm going to leave these off. These are what we're going to do in the black, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the magnetic piece on my die set because I can position all of these dies and make sure that we get the most amount of kind of metal cutting space out of our metal without having to, without worrying about the dies going over top of each other, right? So you can see that I've positioned them all on here. I've got a little bit of black card, so I'm going to put my black card down on there. I'll actually fold this in half and do 2 at once. Right.
Of course, because they're thicker dies, you can do that, can't you?
Because the dies, and that's it, we've made these as thicker dies so that they will cut through 2 layers at the same time, right? And I don't need to worry about that being a perfect fold or meeting perfectly because we're not going to actually make a card. I'm just going to cut this and we're going to cut everything out twice. So what you do then is you must have your base cutting plate, your frosted plate, your magnetic one which is holding everything in place. You pop your cardstock down. Hold your cardstock in place with a little bit of tape to the base. Then we're going to use our top plate on here, right? And I'm trying to remember to turn and rotate that top plate every time we send it through so that I'm equally putting equal pressure on the top and the bottom of each one of those cutting plates. You've got to do the same with the top and the base one underneath here, right? So there we go. So I take this off now. You can see here, I've cut 2 of each. I've got my witch's hat, I've got a left boot and a right boot in there, and I've got a little legs going in there as well, right? So you want all of these cut out. And you're obviously going to do 3 of these witches. I'm going to get the first one ready. I've got a couple that I prepared early so that you can see how it goes, and then I'll show you how we connect them all together, right? So there's my base. So how we're going to stick her together, right, is we're going to have the hat, and I'll pop it face down, right? We're going to have the 2 shoes. So we're going to have our left shoe and our little right shoe there. And we're going to connect them together with the little feet like this, right? So that's how we're going to stick her together. Now, I want you to stick these really, really well. Actually, I've just realised before I do need to do her little... I'm going to cover these and decorate these. I've already done these 2, but I will show you how you do them with some others, right? I have stamped onto another piece of cardstock, right? So I've stamped onto a different colour And I've got this, and I've just got it sticky and ready to go. And can you see I'm going to pop that over the top?
Oh,
So I
like
will show
those.
you how we do these with other bits, but I wanted everyone I've just realised before I go and stick that all together, you do need to do a little bit of decoration of all of these. So I'm just going to get her ready with the 2 little feet. There she is, right? And then I'm going to pop those in the middle. Now, really good glue, if you want it to stick really professionally, take your time and do it with the tacky glue, right?
Okay.
Takes a little bit longer to dry, but you know then she's never going to come apart, right? So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop a couple of little, let's just open this up here, a couple of little blobs of that down, Becky, right? So I've got my 2 bits there, and then I'm going to pop my 2 witches' feet. So I'm just sticking them up on these bits here, right? And then the 2 feet are going to go onto the back part there. Actually, let's have a little look. I'm going to stick the big bit on the top and the little bit on the bottom, I think. So that's going to go onto there, and that's going to go onto there like that. So we'll have her feet just coming through in the middle. You got it? So I'm going to do the same. Maybe it's a tiny weeny bit more glue on there. You don't want too much on. And then we're going to give that a little bit of time to dry. So that's going to go onto there. That's going to go onto here. All right. So if I turn this over, you'll see what we're looking at there. There you go.
Oh,
so you've got the witch's feet just coming through there nicely. There she is. Nice. We're happy. So she's got some fancy tights on, all right?
She definitely has.
Now, I did say about all of these being decorated, right? You've got all that, by the way, is going to be for my next little witch. We'll do the pink one now, should we? Right. This here, you're going to stamp, and what you could, you're going to die cut. Sorry, we're going to die cut it and then stamp it. So I'm going to die cut it, and I'm going to stamp some cobwebs onto it.
Okay.
Now, a little bit of a trick, right? So all my sticky stuff, look what I've done. I've popped onto the back of here. This is just our self-adhesive stripping, so that it's really easy for me to do all of my sticking afterwards. So can you see I'm just going to cut that,
That's a good idea.
and I'm going to be able to die cut that already onto here. So that's going to go down onto there, hold this in place. Now, what else do we want to die cut? Oh, we want to do a buckle. So we'll do a buckle into a little bit of silver, all right? Again, I've stuck that backing piece on there. So I'll just cut a little strip, and then we can cut the other buckles out of here as well. So that's going to go onto there. Now, this is when you can either, I would normally, if I was at home, do it the other way around, the way I've just shown you, where we hold it in place with the magnetic. The only reason I do this is so that everyone can see exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
Because I do think it makes a big difference. Now, notice you've got 3 buckles, right? I'm going to pop all 3 buckles on, because 2 of them are for our shoes, and 1 of them's for a hat.
Okay.
So you need lots of bucklage going on.
Bucklage.
For our buckles, right? What else have we got? We've got the little round bit. We've got some stars. We've got some round pieces. I'll cut these so that you can kind of see them going through, and we'll do the next bit of stamping as well. But I've got loads that I've pre-die cut just for speed, because I'm very conscious. We've got loads of demos that we want to get through, okay? So,
I suppose if you'd had the Halloween collection we had last year, we had Halloween papers, didn't we? You could be cutting them out of the papers.
yes.
If you
Great
have the
idea.
covers.
And then you wouldn't need to do, as you know, the stamping is optional, as it was. I'm going to do the stamping on this one, so that you can see how to do it. But you don't need to do the stamping. You might just want to do the, you might, as you said, want to just use all those Halloween papers.
I do like those spiderweb tights, though.
Tights.
Yeah, I think we all need a pair. And actually, I've seen some somewhere, so I have to order those for next year.
Oh,
Leslie
yes.
Sharp says, I don't usually make Halloween cards, but I think my windows will look great decorated with the pumpkins and the witch's hat.
Oh, I think they'll be brilliant.
Yeah. Marcia says, I love the Halloween decorations, they're so cute. Lillian says, love the pumpkins. Margaret says, love the pumpkin die set. Could we have some more shows with more advanced ideas for cards and 3D projects, please?
Oh, we are at your disposal. We can do whatever it is you want. That's why I'm asking what ideas people want to have. Look at that. So now we've got her. Let me just keep my thing tidy while I'm going, because I'm determined to be nice and organised today. All right. So I'm going to pop that on. You'll see now, because we put that self-adhesive stripping on, now I can just peel this off, and this is going to be ready to go. Here we go. Watch along the front of the hat. So that just goes along.
Oh, That looks great.
Right at the base there. And there we go. And then you're going to use your little buckle, and the buckle is just going to go in the centre. And again, if we do this and peel the backing off, there's your buckle going right in the middle there. So you'll learn with me, Becky, I end up going into my own little world when I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm going to be in my own little world now, doing a little bit of sticking and bucklage.
Okay.
Now's a good time if there's any questions coming through.
I do have one question.
Oh, good.
One question so far, but get your questions in. This is from Sarah. Are you going to bring back the portable craft room with the storage set again? Please do it again. I'd love to buy it with the storage. Please, 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 please. And some hearts. So it's almost like I'm on my knees begging here.
Okay,
Would that be something we're looking at?
We did look to bring these back this year, right? The problem is, because of the global cost of shipping at the moment, they were going to be, because of the cost of bringing them over and how all raw materials and everything have gone up, they were going to end up being double the cost of when we last brought them in. And because we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, I was very conscious that seemed like an awful lot of money. It just didn't seem feasible. So the only reason we haven't is just because of the cost of making them has gone up so much. They were going to be double. Now you let me know in the comment if you still want to know if you think it would be worth double. Then I'm all ears, right?
Okay.
I thought that seemed like an awful lot of money, and I wasn't sure people would want to pay that much, if I'm being honest. So let me know what you think, guys.
Okay. And do remember, if you've got any ideas for shows, I mean, so obviously, I think in here, because quite often when we're on air, people suggest shows. We said we needed like a little comments box, so we could write them down after the show and then pop them in that box. And then they could be, you know, all the ideas for products maybe, or new shows. We can immediately let you know what they are. Of course, I could always use my phone and text you, but it's one of those things you forget to do. I think we should have a box.
Comments box.
Comments box.
Comments
yeah.
box,
Ideas
right.
box.
I will sort that between the shows whilst I'm having a scone.
Excellent. So yeah, do let us know if you've got any ideas for types of shows that you'd like to see, because it's always quite useful. Sometimes they're things that we don't think about. Like you say, we've had comments here earlier. Some people are new to crafting, they're new to us as well, and you maybe want a back to basics kind of idea. That is looking gorgeous.
Isn't it coming together really nicely? So I've done 3 of them, right? So I've got the pink one. I've also done a green one and I've done a red one, all right? So I've got 3 of them. They're looking super cute. Now I just want to add a couple of little finishing touches to them, right?
Okay.
So can you see we've got this die here, right? Now I've cut it in black and in white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these together, I'm going to shadow them. So that means I'm going to use my dotty tape pen all over the back of one, position it just slightly off centre to the other one, right? And then I'm going to pop them. Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
now
great.
You can either do it black with a white, or we can do it white on top of the black. Should we see how the white on top of the black looks? We can try both of them. See which one we like the best. So black onto white, white onto the black. Oh, I think the white stands out quite well there with the green. So I'll do another one with the white onto the black. And then I'm going to show, this is the really important bit of the demo. This is the bit where you're going to get your pen and paper out, make a note, because I'm going to explain to you how we're going to put all 3 of them together, okay? Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to get, where's my sheet of black card gone? Right. I'm going to get my black card, so I'm going to cut it. I'm going to get it the width of A4. Oh, should I just stick these quickly onto here before we do anything else, right? So that's going to go onto there. Little bit, do you know the best thing to do it with? Little bit of tacky glue onto the edge here. And again, it just takes a little bit longer to dry, but it will give you a beautiful finish on this. So there's one. We'll go pink in the middle. That's got the white at the front, isn't it? This has got the black at the front.
One of the suggestions for a new product, and actually Debbie Fisher mentioned it yesterday, black foam pads.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's very achievable. Yeah.
And perfect for when you're doing something like this.
Yes, and then you don't see anything. Right, 1, 2, 3 of these. Right, so they can all stick in there just while we're waiting to go. And look, doesn't it make a lovely difference? I'll show you that. With a little bit of a cobweb coming out the background, right? So we'll let those 3 dry over there like that. I'm going to get my guillotine out, Becky, and we're going to start with A4, and I'm going to cut this A4 by about 3/4 of an inch wide, right? So I'm just eyeballing what roughly 3/4 of an inch looks like, and that is the size we're going to go with, right?
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it at 3 inches, and here's my scoreboard over here, Sarah. 3 inches and 9 inches, right? So onto the inches side, I'm going to score it at 3 inches, and then we haven't got a 9 on here. So what I'm going to do is fold that under, and I basically want a 6-inch wide piece here. And we're going to take it and do it like a zigzag, all right? So 3 inches, you hold in there, 6 inches, you hold over there like that, and that's going to give us that zigzag piece that we're going to put all these together with,
okay.
right? So once you've got your 3 zigzags there, what I want you to do is we're going to connect all of the pieces onto this. So I'm going to put the pink one at the front, and I'm going to connect that pink one at the front, and I'm going to stick this under here like this, right? Now I might need to, once that's stuck on, just, trim a tiny little bit off there. But you'll see here, again, using the tacky glue, because I want it to stick really, really, really well. So we're not compromising on the gluing today. And we're going to stick that into there like that. But make sure you only stick that first part down, right? There we go, first part there. Then I'm going to go and stick the next bit on there, so we want the green. Now, you decide, do you want all 3? Do we want the green here, or do we want it there? Okay? I think there, right? So what I'm going to do now is, again, I'm going to put tacky glue right across the middle here. Oh, the gluing bit's always the very stressful, precise bit, isn't it? Right? That's going to go onto there like that, right? Really good stick. And what you'll see is that, and we're going to trim all these excess bits, remember, but that folds over, and just make sure it's lined up. So we've got 1, 2, yep. And then my third one is going to go onto the front of this, and we're going to stick this along the back here. Yep, all making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
That's such a clever idea. With that strip of paper, it makes that look so fantastic. And that's all it is, just holding it together.
Just that one strip of paper, holding everything together. But then what I'm going to do is when I open this up now, you see, is you can use your tiny little knife, this is your swivel knife that we had on the other day.
Yep.
And you can just come in. Now, I'm going to have to wait till it's dry, but I can just come in and I can cut away all of this excess. So can you see? You can just come into there and cut away that excess. And then we're going to turn this over into the next bit.
It's like they're holding hands in a way, isn't it? I know they haven't got any hands because they've only got a hat.
Because they're just a witch's hat. But yes, they're holding hats. So can you see? That's just going to lift up there. And that's got, so you won't see any of it, right? But you've got to wait till the glue's dry, guys, right? But you can see there, you can see exactly how it's coming together, can't you? 1, 2, 3 of them witches' hats all in a row.
Oh, gorgeous.
Looking fabulous, right? So just going to pop that. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring this over.
Yep.
So that you can have this one and my pumpkin one, because I know we've got another, we're only halfway through the show, I'm going to do some corner dies, but you know, just saying, would be a nice demo for demo of the show, this one, wouldn't it? Just put it out there.
That is gorgeous. Brilliant. Loads of people loving that. Lots of people saying particularly like putting that spider's web over the top of the spider's web stamp to create that kind of pattern on there. Really, really gorgeous. I've got lots of comments about ideas for new shows, but we'll go to those after the break. I'm going to keep you in suspenders.
I'll be ready. Oh, do you know what I'd forgotten to do?
What?
I've brought this one. Add the little spiders onto the hats as well.
Oh, They're
Aren't they
great.
super
Oh,
cute?
they're super cute. Yeah, I love that. Really gorgeous. So this is first look. We're looking first of all at the Wicked Witch and the Pumpkin Spice die sets, which are going to Stampin' die sets, which are going to be launching on Tuesday. But in a few moments, we're going to be back with these gorgeous Christmas corner dies. We'll give you the opportunity to grab a cup of tea, and we'll see you in a couple of moments.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Are we in trouble or are we all right?
Yeah.
Should be coming in. Should be coming.
What did she do?
Exactly
What
how
did she
he
do?
looks.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
And I watch you every day, and it's just what really gets you through when you're really at rock bottom.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special, 100%, is the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously, the people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Hello everybody, welcome back to First Look. This is a double whammy First Look. So we've not only been looking at First Look for the launch that's happening on Tuesday, which is the Wicked Witch and the Pumpkin. We've also been looking, we're about to start looking at the launch that's going to happen on Friday, which are these gorgeous Christmas corner dies. We're going to get started on a few demos in those in just a moment, but I've got lots of comments coming in and ideas about new shows, because we would like you to take the opportunity, because the boss is in. You can let her know. You can actually talk directly to her and say, actually, you know what? I really want a whole day on using nesting dies. And we will see what we can do. Libby's story says, regarding new shows, I'm a new crafter who has bought loads and loads of dies and papers, etc. Could we have a show that begins with dies and sizes out to matting and layering to get a finished card, please? So basically a back to basics kind of one. Can we do something like that?
You write down the more detail you can give us on what you're wanting to see on these shows. I'll ask who's on the socials today. Victoria. I'll ask Victoria to compile them all into a list and send them into my inbox for tomorrow.
Fantastic. Rosalind said the die for the witches is so adorable. We've got lots of people asking about black foam pads, so that's another one to pop onto our list. Alison Lee says, I'm being very selfish, but I'd love more 3D demos. You're not being selfish. Lots of people have asked for 3D demos. Sandra Dunder says, Sara, please, can you extend the grid for the enveloper boxer to 8.5 inches? As the cut and emboss folders are great, but you can't make the envelope big enough for a card. Also, bigger paper. For larger envelope boxes.
Do you know, it's really hard to get rid of big paper, to get hold of big paper, but your envelope boxes, if you play about with it, you will be able to make bigger. We only went up to 8 by 8 on the envelope box. We did the envelope plus at one point. That was a really big supersized version of the enveloper. If you have a little look, there might be some instructions on the download section on the website, and you might be able to have a little fudge with your current envelope box, but with the instructions for the envelope plus, and just given that you only want to go half an inch bigger, you can probably manage them out of your envelope box.
Fantastic. A couple of people have asked about that. Alison says, absolutely spectacular card, or spooktacular cards. That was mine. Okay, that was mine. Sarah Brown says, loving the idea of 3 hats. I'm not really into Halloween, but I love this collection. It is really great. Becky says, when making an acetate box, what glue do you use? I tried tacky glue and used paper clips to hold it and left it for a day, but it still didn't hold. Should I just stick with red liner tape?
If you do an acetate, if in doubt, go red liner tape.
Right, okay. Good to know. Yeah. Any other questions, please get them in, because this is your opportunity to pick our brains. There are no silly questions. If you're a new crafter, don't feel that you have to come up with some super complicated question. Everyone has been in the same position. When I first started paper crafting properly, and people were going, Matt and Leah, and I'm thinking, who's this Matt Leah that's going to come on the show a little bit later on? I had to Google it, and then I discovered what everyone was talking about. So don't think any questions are silly. Just message us in. Right,
just
sorry,
message us, we can do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be going for these Christmas corner dies. These are absolutely beautiful. There's so many different designs. We've got poinsettia, we've got ring out the bells, we've got Christmas decor, we've got snow crystals, and we've got something I can't read. Intertwined holly.
I'll show you them all if you want. I've got the boards over here.
Brilliant.
Yes, so corner dies, beautiful, beautiful corner dies, okay? And there's 2 different styles of corner dies in each one. So can you see these are the holly? This is the holly that's connected. And then this is a different style of the holly. Now I'm going to do this card for you first, right? Okay. Let me show you some of the cards then, because I can't get through all of them. What I don't get through, Debbie will be able to do for you in launch day next Friday, right? These are the beautiful snowflake ones. You're going to use these so much in a lot of your cards, okay? This I'm desperate to do with you, because I want to show you how we do a little bit of paper piecing onto acetate, and how these were designed for paper piecing, okay? So that's your poinsettia you want. These are little, I've dropped my sample on the floor. As soon as I get it picked up, guys, I'll be back, and I'm here. Right, this is lovely. Look at this here. So that's the lovely candy canes, and the candy cane's fabulous. You've also got the baubles, and can you see very different styles? So you've got the baubles that are dangling, and then the baubles in the corner. I think that one looks wonderful. Now I'll find you that set and show you it. There it is there. So these are the design. They've just been coloured a little bit, and you can see you've got the top and the bottom version of that beautiful corner. So that one there is called Christmas decor, which is your ornaments, okay? Your snowflakes, so can you see you've got like a snow flurry in one corner,
Yes.
and then you've got that beautiful ornate corner in the other. Same here if you're using the holly leaves, that's the holly leaves. The holly leaves are brilliant, by the way, if you're wanting to do a little bit of paper. A lot of these dies are really nice for paper piecing, actually. These are your bells. So obviously you wouldn't have bells ringing upside down in the other corner. So we've done bells in one corner, and you've just done those, the little, you know, like what in the Polar Express, what he found in his pocket. One of the bells from Santa Claus's,
What, like a jingle bell kind of thing?
Yes, that's the word, jingle bell. There's your lovely corner with your candy cane, and then a nice candy cane top corner. And then we've also got the final set is those lovely poinsettias. We've got lovely kind of top left, bottom right corner on the poinsettias, okay? So those are the 6 designs. I'm going to start off with this nice, just kind of a nice simple card that I was showing you that has the holly leaves on. This one here we're going to do. But I wanted you to see how it doesn't have to just be, looks lovely in the corners on the background, but also makes a nice kind of centerpiece on the front of this. So we're going to start off doing this actual card, right?
Okay.
Now I've done the card 5.5 inches, right? So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, I'm going to score it 5.5 inches, right? This is, someone asked about scoring. You score on the top and always fold it away from yourself, right? And then I'm going to do it 5, and we need to trim it to 5.5 inches. So I'm going to trim it down at that line there, okay? Now, I do need to mark the halfway point on here. So 5.5, half of that will be 2 3/4. So I'm going to put the 2 3/4 line. I'm just going to mark it at the top and bottom, right? And then 5.5, half of that will be 2 3/4. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw off these diagonal lines so that we get a lovely point on the edge of the card.
Okay.
So can you see I'm just measuring? Oh, it's going to be a lot easier if I trim off this bottom bit first, right? Sarah scissor hands here, straight in without the trimmer, right? So I'm going to come there and I'm going to take that one out to this corner, and that's going to form me that lovely point, right? And actually I'm going to score all the way down, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that point backwards, right? Watch what, I'll show you what I mean, Becky. If I trim that off there, and I trim this off here, this, you always fold it that way, even if you want to fold it back on itself. Let's have a little look. It's going to form there, all right? And hang on, we needed this at 5.5, didn't we? So it was 5.5 square. That is my 5.5 there. And you've got like a nice fold back to the front of the diamond. All right, so all we've done really is scored that in half. All right, made a 5.5 inch square card, scored that in half, measured the halfway point, put the points in, so that we've got like a nice fold back pointed diamond. Okay. All right, so that's going to be my nice base card. Now, do realise I made that look a bit more complicated than it needed to be, because I should have just made the 5.5 inch card first, instead of trying to do it all and save myself a little bit of trimming. Never mind, Becky, never mind, right? Right, here we go. I've got a little bit of green mirror card. And I'm going to cut these 2 lovely corner dies into the mirror card. Now, I'm going to use that technique that we did earlier on the show, where I'm going to suggest we use the magnetic, because it'll hold these right in place with each other and not worry about them going over top of each other, all right? So that's going to go into there.
And this would be how you would craft at home normally, you do it this way round?
Yes, so people often say to me, why do you not use your cutting plates like how it says in the instructions? And that's purely because I like you to be able to see what I'm doing. And right now you couldn't see what I was doing because I put my paper on top of the cardstock, right? Whereas when I do this at home, it doesn't matter, I follow the instructions, right? So that's why we quite often do them back to front, just so that everyone can see really easily on the camera what it is that we're doing, right? So I've cut those 2 out. Look at that, all that ready there to go straight into the bin on the bottom. It also holds your pieces in the place, you see, so it's a little bit easier. And then if I was trying to save a bit of my cardstock, you see, what I would do is I would position them onto the cardstock so that I can see, be really frugal here, because I need to be able to see the cardstock. I'd pop them on place and I'd hold them in place with a little bit of tape, all right? And then I would go the way that you're used to seeing me do, where I'm going to go, sorry, you're not used to seeing that, you're used to seeing it as though I'm cutting into the cardstock. So I hold it in place with a little bit of tape, then I put these on, then I put the top plate on. That's it. But you see, either way, as long as you're using exactly the same sandwich. So I'm always having the two white cutting plates, or your clear cutting plates if it's your other Gemini on the outside. I'm always cutting into one of those plates, and I've got the magnetic and the frosted inside as well. As long as you do that, there's no right or wrong way to make a sandwich.
Okay.
Just different ways, right? So, here we go.
Have you ever...
Did you know that as a tip, by the way?
What, dropping them?
You can just drop them like that and then the dies will fall out.
Oh, that's
If you've got little tiny weeny dies, it's always a good way to do that.
I'm going to ask you a serious question, Sara.
Go on.
Have you ever accidentally cut into your magnetic shim?
Oh, yes. I did it live. It was probably the biggest TV show I'd ever done in my life. I was being broadcast live from one of the big trade shows over in America.
Yeah.
Huge show, millions of viewers. I mean, it was absolutely massive, right? And I was demonstrating the Gemini machine for one of the first times.
Yeah.
And yes, because I was so nervous, I wasn't paying any attention to what I was really doing.
Yeah.
And I made a fridge magnet.
Well, that's good, because I don't know. Well, there have been so many people that say they've done that, and so I think it's
you've
nice
got to do it once.
Yeah.
You've got to do it once. Otherwise, you'll not learn.
Yeah.
You always learn the hard way, as it was, right? Now let's have a little look. I'm going to get going on some of these, Becky. Right? I'm going to pop these dies. I'm going to use the ones that have the little lines in. And I'm going to top and bottom them like this, right? Now, different ways people like to stick stuff like this down, right? I'm going to show you them. Some people like to put a bit of glue onto the hand like this, right? And then pop their die into the glue. Now, I don't like this method, right? And the reason I don't like it is because you get bits on your hand, and it just really annoys me, right? However, I want to show you all the different ways that people might want to do it, okay? And we'll do that over the course of this hour. I'll try and do the different ways so that you can see the different styles, right? So this is the first one. One of the benefits is, it does get you good glue coverage all over. One of the downsides is if you've got dirty fingers and you're going onto white card like this, it does potentially leave you like little finger marks all over your card, all right? So you've got to be really careful, all right? So that is one way of doing that.
Okay.
So pop them into place. See, this is already stressing me out that I've got this on my hand, right?
You're not going to enjoy peeling that off after it dries.
No, I don't like it. I don't like to leave it to dry. I've got to like kind of rub it all. Yeah, it's got to go. Right, okay. Right, there we go. So I've stuck that into place. So that's one way. I'm just going to give you all the options, guys.
Absolutely.
You can do what works right for you, okay? So once you've got this to there, look what I'm going to do. I'm just going to colour them in, Becky, right? So I'm going nice simply with my tri-blend pens, and you can go and colour into the gap. Now, one of the other downsides of doing it like this is then any bits of PVA glue that you've got in the middle, you're colouring onto your PVA glue, right? Which obviously you don't want to do because it's not going to give the same finish and it's going to damage the tips of your pens. But just so you can see kind of how we're going this, I'm going to colour into all of these, right? And I'm going to colour red. You can do two-tone as well if you want. So can you see I haven't quite got as neat a finish on there, and that's just because of the glue. So make sure I've got all the glue out. And then I'm going to go with the lightest colour in here and just colour in, finish the holly leaves off. So it's going to give me the nice kind of topper piece on the front. Right, go on, I'm good for questions.
Sorry, I've got mesmerised by that. Right, Laura says, hi, I'm just home from work in Seattle. Finally calmed down, jinxing myself. I love your dress, Sara. It looks comfy and summery.
Oh, thank you. It is a lovely, comfy, summery one, this one.
Michelle says, what is the paper used on the poinsettia?
I use the green mirror card that we have.
Right, lovely.
The green mirror card's lovely.
And Betty Weaver says, I love these corner dies as they will work on any size project.
That's the idea with them.
That would work, wouldn't it?
Look at that. All I've done with that one is matted and laid it a little bit.
That's lovely.
Right?
Yep.
So look at this. I've got one that I've matted and laid, With these ones here, I've stuck them onto a base piece like this. So I've already done 2. Let me show you the next technique of how I might do a bit of sticking, right?
Okay.
You want our permanent spray adhesive, which is this one here, stick and stay, right? So stick and stay, very different to stick and spray, okay? So stick and spray is your repositionable, this is your permanent. So with this one, what you're going to do, you're going to turn them over, make sure you've got all these little bits out, give it a good shake. Now, short, sharp bursts. Can you see? You use hardly any, and short, sharp bursts. That is as much as what you need on. Protect your work surface, so I've just used a piece of scrap card here, right? Now, you must wait 30 seconds, right?
Okay.
So you want to leave, and what's happened is, in the can, you've got propellant and the adhesive. So now we're letting all of the propellant evaporate so that we're left with just the adhesive, okay? So you want just the adhesive in there. So now I've got this base one here. I'm going to give that a couple of more seconds, actually. Do you know what we'll do? We'll mat and layer the card while we wait for that to dry, right?
And using such a tiny amount, that can's going to last a long time, isn't it?
Oh, the cans last for ages. I always feel really bad using them because we can't ship aerosols to the US. So all of our US viewers get really, really annoyed that we can't send them. But we do have them in our US, they're sometimes on the HSN shows, and we do stock them in our US warehouse. So sometimes when we do shows where we're shipping things from our US warehouse, then we have them on the shows. So stick and spray, the red can is your stick and stay, and that is your permanent adhesive.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to pop that one onto there. So that's my base there. That's given me enough time. Now I can crack on with the other base part here. So all we do, Becky, I should really have not popped that on the top, but never mind, right? This, the beauty of this now is I don't get any of that PVA glue on the inside. So when I'm coming to colour, inside here now, I'm not going to get any bits with stickiness on them, right? So again, I'm going to come in, I'm going to go in with my nice light cotton, look at this now, straight in there, no extra, it's got a little bit of adhesive on from where I did the last one. But look how well these are going. Yeah, look at that colouring, you see, nice and vibrant.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
Looks very different actually, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Gives you a totally different base and finish to that. Right. Any other questions?
Rosalind says, will these corner dies cut through stencil plastic? I like to make my own stencils from dies.
Well, they will cut through, if they are our regular thin metal dies, so if you've been using any of our other thin metal dies to do that, these will work in exactly the same way.
Would you, if you're going to be cutting them into plastic, would you use your metal shim?
I would, if you need a little bit of extra pressure, I would probably suggest using your metal shim in there as an extra, yes.
Okay. Keep your questions coming in. Oh, I've got another one. There I am. Michael says, Sara, would you line the underneath of the dies with acetate and colour underneath to create a stained glass effect?
Yes, you could absolutely do that with these. That would work really, really well. Do you know, this is nice to get some ideas as well. It's Debbie doing this show on Friday, not me, so she'll still have time to be getting some last minute stuff ready for the show. So anything like this, I'll pass all these comments on to her. You never know what she might be incorporating into her demos.
I really like these. They're beautiful. And nice, because you could snip into these, couldn't you?
Yes, you don't have to take the whole piece at once if you don't want. Look how easy that was to colour into.
Really easy.
Look, and because you're literally just dropping your pen in the inside and it's raised up, it's just nice and quick and easy. Yeah, I do love these for this one. Lovely for paper piecing. We'll do the paper piecing next. But I think it's nice, even if you're wanting to do a nice, nice quick card. This gives you that coloration, but it's still nice and you're not kind of compromising on time as it was.
Lots of people are apparently asking for large nesting dies.
Oh, like what sort of size?
Don't know yet. Let us know what size, what kind of thing. Very ornate or something sort of like that kind of stitch effect that we did. Let us know. Lynn says, where is the paper with the music notes from? I would love a paper had with music notes.
This one here is it's from the 'Twas the Night set. Nicola is straight on there. She's like, I'm sure that's 'Twas the Night. She knows her paper pads. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Nesting dies are not stitched ones, but would go up to approximately 8 inches in size. Would be a great core product. Is one of the requests that's come through.
Okay.
And more shapes and some bug hexagons. I don't know what a bug hexagon is. Maybe that's a typo. Hexagons.
I don't know what bug hexagons are either.
Hexagon nesting dies I always think are really good. I like the shape of a hexagon. And obviously good for patchwork.
Yes,
gorgeous.
because they're tessellating shapes.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Really nice.
So that's just a nice kind of simple way to get using those corner dies. I'm going to get ready while, if you want, sorry, I've dropped all my glue all over. Becky, if you want, I was going to say I can bring you the samples over. You can show everybody the samples while I'm getting ready for the next one. I'm going to do some paper piecing next.
Excellent. Yeah, loads of messages coming in about types of things people would like. Rosalind said 8x8 nesting dies would be great. Thank you very much. Robbie says, I love when Sara and Leanne are on because of all the questions and the answers. This is the opportunity, isn't it, to take this full advantage of this. No, it's not often. Anne Meyer says, when using punches, what's the best weight of paper for the best results?
When using whaties?
Punches.
Oh, punches. To be honest, punches I struggle with sometimes on glitter card, depending on the quality of glitter card. But you can use any type of card and get a great, even thin stuff like vellum. That's the beauty of punches. They'll work on all of your different cards.
Fantastic. Just give it a whirl. And actually it works quite nice with vellum. I was saying earlier on, I never really know what to do. I didn't know what to do with vellum. I watched a couple of masterclasses and now I quite like it. Whereas before I was a bit, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to use that. But actually I love using vellum now. Here are a few samples of these Christmas corner dies. This one is your snow crystals around that outside. This is your... I think this one's snow crystals as well. Yeah, that's the snow crystals 1 and 2. You can see how different they look. Cut out of like a mirrored card and versus a sort of ordinary card. This one here, really pretty with those sort of holly berries there too. This one here with the poinsettia. Beautiful colours actually that have been used in this one. Very pretty. Just, you know, you can be working on another type of card, but just need something at the very edge just to finish it off. That one with the ring out the bells. This one is using the poinsettia again, but using it in a different way with that craft card rather than the paper piecing. Just gives it a totally different look. This one here, we've got the bells down here, the jingle bells at the bottom. This one here, oh my goodness, look at this one. This is just using that die at the bottom of this jingle bells on all 4 corners with that almost that fairy tale frozen kind of a palace in the background. That's really cute. And then this one here with those little I was going to call them barbells, baubles up at the top. Very, very pretty. So these are our Christmas corner dies. These are going to be launching on Friday with Debbie. You can see all of the different types of ones that we've got here. We have got snow crystals, entwined holly, ring out those bells, Christmas decor, a candy cane lane and poinsettia Splendor. Beautiful selection of different dies that we've got there. We have got other people messaging in to say what a beautiful card you just made. Gorgeous card, loving your demos from Sarah Brown. Sue Henderson says, I'd like to have A4 embossing folders and backgrounds. I always seem to have a design in 5x7 when I need a 6x6. It's an interesting idea. Yeah, yeah. We're going to...
Ones. Would 8x8 do the same trick though? Yes, that would still work for a 5x7 and a 6x6.
Okay, keep your comments coming in, your ideas for shows, ideas for products as well, because this is the opportunity, as Sara is in, to let her know all the things that you think you've been thinking. Oh, I wish I had this. Victoria is compiling a list, and we will, be passing those on to Sara for next week. Right, are you ready for the next demo?
I am indeed.
Fantastic.
Right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a floating acetate card. So floating acetate is where we float the corners in the middle like this. Okay. So what you're going to do for that is you're going to start off by making the base card. So the base card I'm going to do is, and we'll start with A4, so it'll not quite be a 6x6 because A4 is not quite 12 inches. So what you do is you go 1 before the 6, trim that down like that. Always fold it away from itself, like I was telling you, okay? 1 before the 6 will be here. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my trimmer out and I'm going to trim this to square. So it's just shy on 6 by 6. There we go, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then I'm going to leave a panel at the top. I'm probably going to leave it, maybe it's 1.5 inches. Trim that to there, because I'm going to put my acetate in. So I've got a sheet of acetate here. Peel off the back there. That's going to go inside here. So I'm popping that inside there like that. I'm going to stick it with the tape, but I tend to find you get a better stick if you stick tape to tape. So I've stuck tape on both sides there, all right? And then that is going to come down and you're going to trim that at the base, okay? So you've got your acetate there, and then because we want to make it float, you'll cut a piece of this, not full size, and we'll add that onto the bottom, but we'll do that at the end, okay? So I've got my floating acetate. Now I want to do my dies for a little bit of paper piecing. So I'm going to get the 2 poinsettia ones this time. Beautiful, beautiful dies. I'm going to position them in place on my magnetic sheet so that I can get them using up the minimum amount of space possible. So look at these, I've got them right next to each other, buttered right in, but not crossing, covering that with that little bit there. So this is the stuff, if you miss me explaining, this is how I would regularly use dies, but we don't do this on the show because then you can't see them. So I always like to do it how you can actually see them. And then we'll pop the top plate on and through you go. By the way, if you find that, so you can see now I've got a shape of a pumpkin ingrained in my white cutting plate. You might say, well, we never had that with the clear ones. You did, you just couldn't see it because they were clear plates. So they're just a little bit more noticeable now we've got these plates in the white, right? Now look at this, these are brilliant, all these little bits that have been, so we want to do a bit of paper piecing with these, you see, so it'll be brilliant to have them left in there. So watch this here, take them out. There's my dies. I am going to need to pop out these extra parts, right? You're clear, and we're going to do the paper piecing in the red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my red card next. I'm going to pop my red card on, hold that in place with the tape. These are the bits we're going to keep in the next one, so I'm going to just get rid of them into the bin for this one. However, I quite often like to double up my paper piecing, so I'll do like a red into a gold and then a gold into a red separate. So quite often I will keep the insides of one to go into the other, and the inside. That's just if you're really being very, very frugal on your cards, you might want to do that, right? So pop these to one side. We're going to paper piece these in just a second. I'm going to get these dies stuck in place first, right? So we're going to go 1, 2 into there like that. I quite liked that technique with the stick and spray. It gave me a lovely stick, that. So I'm going to pop these down. I've just seen there a couple of tiny little bits that I haven't popped out. So the beauty of using the stick and spray is it's quick, it's easy, and I don't need to get glue onto here, all right? So I was all a fan of the not getting the glue into there.
And
so
when
we're going
it
to do
sticks to anything, so obviously you're sticking to acetate now, would it stick to like glass or something like that?
You stick and spray, yes, it's not as strong as your tacky glue for stuff like that, but yes, it absolutely will. So it will do a good job of that. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to go that one on the base there.
It looks so beautiful out that mirrored card, doesn't it?
Oh, I love a bit of mirror card. Love a bit of mirror card like that. And then I'm going to pop this one in on the top there. All right. So the beauty is there as well, you can't see any of the glue behind. Right. So make sure they're nicely well stuck down. And then I'm going to ever so carefully lift off. This will be my back piece here. No, not so carefully done. And I'm going to just use my fine tip glue, and I'm going to pop the so what you do is you pop a little bit of glue in there, Becky, and then you want to use your tweezers. We had the tweezers on the show. We'll probably have them on later today again, have we?
Yeah, I think we might
Yes.
do.
So you want to be able to pick up your tweezers.
Does it matter which ones you use?
No, just whichever ones you feel the most comfortable with. I could only find the duckbill ones here, so I'm having to use the duckbill ones. But in all honesty, these probably wouldn't have been the easiest to use. Look at that, that just paper pieces back into there really easily. And I'll come in there with the next one. Now, the problem is I do get lost a little bit in my own little world when I start doing paper piecing.
It's quite therapeutic, isn't it?
It's a wonderful, wonderful craft to do, but you do need to take all the pieces in the exact order that they came off and pop them into place on here, right?
Okay.
You kind of can't. There's no room for having got it wrong. You don't want to be knocking them all over the place. If you do have, we don't have any in stock, so I can't use it today, but if you do have any of our paper piecing foam, oh my word, that makes life so much easier.
Okay.
So I would definitely recommend, if you've got any of the paper piecing foam, as soon as we've got it back in stock, we'll be able to use it in our demos again. But we get lots of complaints. Customer service gets lots of complaints when we use the stuff that we haven't got in stock.
Yeah, I can understand that. Anne says the Christmas corner dies will sell fast. I am sure that they have a lot of detail in them. They do. They're very intricate. They're absolutely beautiful. Rosalind says, when using acetate for boxes, would you remove the plastic film before or after scoring the box lines?
I always remove it before I do absolutely anything. I always take that out.
Okay. And Charlotte says, can we use stick and spray on glitter card?
Yes.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah, for the back of your glitter card especially. I've just seen the time and I was wanting to get one more demo done here. So do you know what I'm going to do? Instead of sitting finding all these little pieces and paper piecing them all back in, right, in true Sara style, I have one that I prepared earlier. Excellent. Right? So there is the one that I prepared earlier where I've had time for all those pieces to dry in because I want to show you how the whole card comes together, right? So I did say you would end up sticking your piece of card onto the bottom, right? So you're going to take this, and actually what I've done is I've taken one and, I wonder if I can use that one. I've cut this one to exactly the right size for what I want. So I'm going to stick that onto the bottom there, right? Remember what I showed you about tape to tape, Becky? Mm-hmm. So if you put plenty of tape on this side and plenty of tape on here as well, it's going to stick it on really, really perfectly.
That's a really good tip.
All right, so that'll go onto the bottom like that. And the tape, it just sticks so much better. And that gives this the rigidity, and it looks like your acetate's floating in the middle, okay? And then I've just done a little bit of matting and layering. You're going to ask where this is from, this cardstock, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. It's from, I hardly dare mention it because it sold out. It came back into stock last week and sold out as quick as it came in. It's from the Bethlehem paper pad. So it came in, it went out. Problem is, we'd already got the prep done for the shows, thinking, oh, we're going to have that Bethlehem paper pad in stock for weeks. Just come in. No, it hasn't.
You've got to be quick off the mark.
You've got to be with all this stuff. Yep. Especially when it's really, really popular things like that. You know, we try and we think we're ordering plenty and we clearly just get it wrong every time. Now, I'm just going to pop a little bit of this in the background. So it's giving you a nice, and that was the B track, this one. Nice all over base. Mm-hmm. And I've gone with a strong colour. All right, so you've got a nice strong colour there in the background, which is just going to show those poinsettias up even more.
That's lovely.
And then I've just got a nice little, we'll add a little bow onto the top corner. And I've still got time to be able to squeeze in a third demo, which is actually my fifth one of the hour, isn't it?
It will be, yeah.
Fifth one of the show, as I should say, not fifth one of the hour. So I'm liking these first looks. They're a lot less stressful than the launch day shows, I can tell you.
That's
nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So
love the blues with that, and it's super festive. Very much like that. Oh, these are our Christmas corner dies that are going to be launching on Friday. You can see here we've got 6 altogether. They are absolutely beautiful. I mean, that demo that Sara just did, it's absolutely gorgeous. Loads of you are saying how much you like this and how you can't wait to get your hands on the launches. Tammy says, I can't wait to get my hands on the Wicked Witch set. I love the Tuesday. So this one,
Tuesday.
And that will be with Sara. And then this one over here will be Friday, and that will be with Debbie Robinson. Do get your questions in, ideas for different shows, or perhaps you want to let us know what you've been crafting with lately. Or maybe you're thinking, actually, I want to make a giant box. Why don't we have a Gemini that's a whole metre wide? I don't know. It might be an option. Who knows? Get your questions in. Do remember, if you are going to be going to the website to purchase anything today, have a look under last chance. You need to put last chance into the search bar, and it will show you a secret sale. Don't tell everybody. There is lots and lots of different things in there. Whether you are a seasoned crafter or whether you're just wanting to build up your stash, you will definitely find things in there with stonkingly good discounts. And we are running our double discount events throughout the whole of the weekend. Finishes at midnight tonight, so do make sure you take advantage of that as well, where we've given you a discount and then another discount, and then you can still use your Club Inspire discount on the top of that. So you're saving more than you're actually paying, basically, on many, many items. Do make sure you do that. Lois says, beautiful card. Thank you, Sara. Everything you're making is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Why, thank you very much. I'm almost ready to go with my next one. Give us about 30 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. We've got, I'll just recap what we've got in First Look today. So we have had the Wicked Witch and the Pumpkin Spice. These are our Halloween stamp and die sets. Just move those just to one side so you can see those gorgeous samples, or demos that Sara's just done. Lots and lots of dies and stamps that you're getting in here. I mean, I think having a blue pumpkin that we've got here, and blue pumpkins do exist. I've Googled it. It must be true. They do exist. Really, really cool idea. Really nice design. And of course, you can use them for cards, but you could also use them for your decor as well for Halloween anyway. And then the next item that we've got, thanks very much. Thank you.
Finish my card as well.
Excellent. That's gorgeous, isn't it? So the next one that we've been showing you in this latter hour have been all of these absolutely beautiful Christmas corner dies. All sorts of different designs. You've got bells, you've got snowflakes, you've got holly berries, you've got all sorts of different designs, poinsettias as well. And you can see these two different demos that Sara's done for us today using those. Absolutely gorgeous as well. Lots and lots of samples. You're going to be seeing more of these on Friday with Debbie Robinson. So these ones launch on Friday. These ones are launched on Tuesday with Sara. You ready for me now?
I am ready and raring to go. Do you know what I thought we'd do is, I thought we'd use those beautiful bells. Now, what's really nice about these dies, and you've got the boards over there, so you'll be able to show everybody after the set of demos. You always get one die that works nice as though it's dropping down from the corner, and one that works nice as though it's sitting on the base. So I'm going to cut both of them out, and actually these work really, really well coloured. So if you hold them in place on your base plate like this, look, I can put my cardstock over, hold the cardstock in place so that it won't move as it's going through, right? Top plate on there, turn and rotate every time you do it, and we're going to cut them out, right?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to just get myself a piece of scrap card to colour onto. Oh, I don't need to rush anymore because they'll just hold at the back of the Gemini. I forget I'm always like rushing around. They'll just hold ready, right? Now, watch this, right? I can lift this off. There's my top one. I can drop, it drops all the bits out.
It doesn't damage the die by dropping it like that.
Do you know, I don't think so. Leanne's never told us off for it, so I'm assuming I'm all right.
If Leanne hasn't told you off, then it must be all right, mustn't it?
It's a wonder, yeah. Right, so let's have a little look here. Look at that detail, right? So I'm going to pop these in here. Oh, do you know what I might do? Because it'll be easier for you to see, actually. I'll get some black cards so that you can see me do my colouring, all right? So, because it's hard to see that on the white. Whereas if I've got a sheet of black underneath here, you can see it now. All right, so there's one. And then again, all of these, the little bits will just pop out, and they're very, very detailed dies, these. So there are lots and lots of little bits. Use your brush tool if it's a little bit quicker and easier. I think everyone has their own way of doing stuff, don't they? I always get the pokey tool out, but some people find the brush tool a lot easier, and it's whatever works best for you.
Yeah.
And this is why we've got all different craft experts, because we all find different things work better for each of us, but you get to experience everyone's different styles, right? Now, George, if you can get in nice and close. Oh, George, will get in nice and close for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 tri-blends. So I've got the pink violet, the green turquoise and the blue turquoise, right? And so if we colour that bow, for example, I can go with the dark shade in the middle, right? And then we can go from the dark to the medium. So I can blend that dark into the medium quite nicely. It's nice to do this, by the way. I think people sometimes forget that you can colour in your die cut pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the colours you're using, like the Frosty and Bright collection in those turquoise and the pinks.
It is that sort of shading, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think it's nice. It's quite a modern take on things. And
On
sometimes
Christmas.
like these images are quite sort of traditional, aren't they? So it's nice to have a sort of a modern colourway.
I do like that, yes. Right, there we go. So I'm going to go into the dark, into the lighter shade. So I started with the dark, into the medium, and then that medium is taking us into the light, right? So there we go. And once I've done the bow, I'm going to go from the bow and I'm going to go into the baubles. So we've got the bow in a lovely lilac. I'm going to go into those baubles and I'm going to do the baubles. I love a bit of blue turquoise, right? So I'm just going to go with the lighter shade down the right-hand sides, and then I'm going to blend that darkest shade out from the left.
Okay.
And I'll be back in my own little world again, just to warn you.
Okay, that's fine. Charlotte Everett has asked for embossing powders.
Right.
And Zoe Carver says, can't wait to see what's in the 2 stockings on Shop the Day. Whose stockings are there in Shop the Day? They're going to be coming up at 2 o'clock today, so you'll be able to see what's inside those later on. Do make sure that you message in if you've got any questions, any ideas about ideas for shows, because Sara is working on the it was September, isn't it? September plan.
End of September
so this is
plan.
the opportunity to get your ideas in. I'm do liking the idea of that foil press class, because I had to say I did buy myself a foil press.
I knew she was going to be doing that. Yes,
Terrible.
I knew she would be. Yes. Well, then we'll definitely be doing a foil press masterclass. Oh, maybe I should plan it on a day when you're presenting.
Oh, that'd be good. Well, I need a foil press over here so I can have a go at the same time, almost like a craft along.
Oh,
that'd
yes.
be nice.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm quite accident prone. I'm just putting it out there, so yeah. I'm
Okay,
not
maybe
supposed to carry hot.
do it on the day you're in then.
I'm not supposed to carry hot drinks because I might fall over. So maybe that's probably not a great idea. One option was a beginner's class to ink pads. Which ones to use for which project? I would really think that was great, because when I first started, I brought all the wrong ink pads.
Yep.
I bought a lot of the pigment ink pads, thinking they were the right thing for me to get with alcohol markers.
Ah, right, yes. I was thinking, pigment markers, they were great though, you can use them for loads, Becky, but not with the alcohol markers, no.
No, that was a disappointing mistake that I made there. I think that would be really useful, because we have so many different types of ink pads, and so many different colours, and so many different ideas, and I think you end up going down the same route. You use the same ones over and over again. That would be, I'd like that. That would be good. Kelly says, I'd love to see a show making that Christmas train. That was something one of the design teams made, wasn't it?
Oh, that was fabulous. So what you would want us to just make that whole train from start to finish.
Would that be like a whole weekend?
No, I could do that in a show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, Sara can do it. Sara can do it in a show. So.
I could do it. I could do it in 2 hours. I'm not sure anybody else would thank me for making them do that in 2 hours in a show, though. I think that would stress a lot of our craft experts out. I'm going to have to do that one then, aren't I?
Yeah, I think so. That train was beautiful. Really lovely. I think everyone fell in love with that.
We should really maybe get the designer who designed it. It was Sandy, wasn't it? Did that one?
Sandy,
we could get Sandy to come on. Like she could maybe Skype in. Oh, that would be good. My brain's whirring while I'm going.
It's a great opportunity, isn't it, to get all these different ideas. Kirsty D says, seeing as Becky's here, I'm thinking of back to basics in a troubleshooting sewing class. Well, I'm starting doing my Facebook Lives next week, and we're going to continue with the craft-along that we did yesterday. But it won't be, I don't think it's going to take the next 4 weeks to finish off, in which case I will sort of build in like a mini masterclass, how to use your sewing machine, what stitches to use, all those sorts of things. So for anybody who's never sewn before, or who's just got a sewing machine, or you're thinking it might be something you'd like to do, we can start there. Kelly also says, how about a printable chart on the CC website telling us which inks go with which markers?
Do you know?
That's quite useful, wouldn't it?
It is, but we try to make it even easier, and we've just put it on the actual inks. So if you need a one to use for watercolour, you need a water-resistant ink pad.
Yep.
And if you need a one for alcohol pens, you need an alcohol-resistant ink pad.
Right.
So it's just pick the one that it says on the front, and it'll kind of keep you right.
Right. Okay.
Look at them, don't they look lovely?
Gorgeous.
Coloured on. And now you've got them coloured, I can show you them on the white. There you go, you see, aren't they lovely?
They are lovely.
On the white. Right, now, what I'm going to do, because I'm totally not, I know I said I would use all the different ways. Oh, look, I'll do a different way, right? I was going to use the spray again. Isn't it brilliant, that spray?
Yeah.
Yes, right. The other one is you can use your dotty tape pen, right? So, if you have your dotty tape pen, I know we're not in stock of them at the moment. This is the problem, you snooze, you lose, guys. You've got to get this stuff while we've got it in, right? So, just be very, very careful. Loads of like little bits. Don't do big, long strokes. And always going from where you're holding to the outside, right? So I'm going to pop that down. I'm going to pop that in the bottom corner, right? And I'm going to pop this one in the top corner. Now, when you've done something like that,
yep.
Lovely little trick, nice little thing to do is if I just come over here and get a nice ice grey. Let's have a little look. It's got ice grey one in this one, right? What you can do is you can just go around the outside of your dies and it gives it like a little bit of a shadow like that.
Oh, that looks really effective.
Doesn't it? It just gives it, if you ever want to give it a shadow, you want ice grey one or brown grey one, basically anything in the ones, right? The ones are perfect for doing this with. It also means if you've ever, so it's a little bit different because I've cut this one out and stuck it on, but if you've ever done it whereby you coloured something in and you've gone a little bit wrong and you've gone out of the lines a little bit, right? Be amazed, covers a multitude of sins, this, because it basically, anywhere where you've gone wrong, it'll cover over the wrong sticky out bits, right? So it just gives it a little bit of shadowing.
That looks really good.
And then I'm going to go right round the outside here again. And it's easy. And now I've used the brush one because I wanted like quite a long nib out as it was, right? So I wanted like a long shadow. If you use the bullet ones, you can have just a shorter shadow out, but same sort of effect into it. There you go. So just
that really does elevate it, doesn't it?
Doesn't it just give it a little bit extra, just go around the outside? And then actually I'm just going to colour into the inside bits here so that it looks a little bit more blended in. There we go. Just gives it a bit more shadowy on there, all right? If you ever wanted to get really fancy, by the way, you could come with the darker one. So this is Ice Grey 3 round the bottom, right? And then blend that out with the ice grey one, right? So if you ever wanted it to be more shadowy, so you might want to say, do you know, I'll have a little bit more shadow around the bottoms of these. You're just going to take your pen round the bottom like that, but then you must use your ice grey one again to go back around it. And when the alcohol evaporates, it's just going to give it a slight more of a shadow.
Yep, lovely.
Makes sense? There we go. Now, I'm going to mount that on the front of a card because I know we've only got 5 minutes left, right? So what I've done is, I'm going to start off with just a sheet of white card, and I'm going to score it in the centre and fold it in half. So this is A4. I'm going to come one little notch before the 6, always fold it away from itself like this. And then let's have a little look. How big's this panel on the front? Panel on the front is just over 3 inches. So if we leave a 4-inch panel in the middle, so this is 8 inches, so if we go 2 and 2, that's going to leave us a 4-inch panel in the middle, right? Let's go, maybe it's 2 1/4. Yeah, all right, 2 1/4. So all I'm doing, measuring myself a little panel, is that going to give it a nice panel from the inside? Yeah, maybe it's going to come one more again, 2 3/4, and I'll come one more in from there. All right, there we go. So now, when I use my trimmer, I'm going to trim up just up to the side of the emboss panel there. And that's going to give me like a nice little background piece so that you've got the front of the card. There we go. I'm leaving the emboss panel on here. Front of the card with a little bit sticking down. And then trim these right off to the edge. But I've just made that the right size for that panel on the front. That makes sense. So watch that's going to go. That panel's going to go on the front there. Nice.
Yep. Gorgeous.
And then I've just done a nice little bit of coloured paper. The card I've used, by the way, just used some nice, like, what did you say? It was like the frosty and bright colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just use some nice kind of frosty and brightish colours for that. And then this one here, I love this paper. It's from the Gnomes set that we did. It was like a Gnomes Christmas collection.
Oh, okay.
But they were quite bright and fun, the designs. So I've got a couple of those paper pads at home. That's what you've got to do, you see. You've got to stock up on them when we get them.
Yeah.
And you'll just know just the projects to come to. There we go. So that's going to go on the base there. And actually, I'm just going to trim that down because I trimmed my matten layer a little bit smaller. There we go. And I'm just going to trim those off at the bottom, Becky.
Lillian Kwok says, I love these colours are a lovely, refreshing change from red and green.
Do you know,
always
I
have
like
to be
we've done
red
a nice traditional red and green one,
Yeah.
so it would be nice to have a slightly different one. I'm going to just layer off that bottom.
Beth Lucas says, very pretty, I love the colours.
Thank you very much,
And
Beth.
Paul Print, ×4 says, colouring my dice is something I never think to do. Thank you for reminding me.
Well, it's just, it is one of them things that you, like you say, you just wouldn't think of a lot. And I'd seen a card with it and I thought that was lovely that. I'm going to borrow that idea for these corner ones because they just lend themselves really well to that. There we go. Nice and simple.
That's
lovely. Now,
Gorgeous.
what do you do? Have we still got time for a demo of the show or do we not do it? Yay! Right, I'm going to run it over.
Yeah, we've got five demos to choose from. Get them in the right order. Have I done them around the wrong way?
You've done them perfect.
Have I?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. So the first one is this one here, which is your gorgeous blue pumpkin. And this is from your pumpkin spice stamp and die set. Then you've got your Wicked Witch, your, what's it called, Triceptor?
I don't know, that's a very fancy name. We'll go with the Triceptor card. I've just made a Triceptor card for the first time on Crafts TV. Number 2, get your votes in.
I was thinking like a coven of it's that, I think it's just a random word I've made up. So you've got your Wicked Witches 3 cards there, all joined together. And this next one is using that holly a corner, Christmas corner. Then we have this one here, which is that floating acetate card. And then finally, we have this one here with those really gorgeous sort of baubles. That's your Christmas decor. Really lovely. So get your votes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Who's going to win? Only you can decide. But we all know it's going to be Sara. Right, we're going to move these just to one side so I can show you the boards. Let's put those over here, don't want to lose them. Show you the boards of these dice so you can actually see them again. As somebody did say, these look really intricate. They are very intricate, almost like a filigree kind of design that you've got in here. These are going to launch on Friday. And this first one is your Poinsettia Splendor. Really beautiful. And as Sarah was saying, they're great for paper piecing. I like that idea of sort of making them like a stained glass effect on some acetate. This next one is your Candy Cane Lane. I have to say, I think this is my favourite. I do like a candy cane. Yeah, I like a candy cane. This next one is Ring Out Those Bells. So you've got your normal kind of Christmassy bells at the top and you've got your like jingle bells down at the bottom. And then you have your intertwined holly. And it's really useful having these two different types of corner. So you'll be able to use, but they're both together or separately. I like the idea that we've given you that option. Then we have your snow crystals with those gorgeous snowflakes. That's something we're going to use again and again, isn't it? And this final one is your Christmas decor, which is the one you've just seen Sara using, with those hanging baubles and the baubles in a little cluster down at the bottom. Really gorgeous collection. Loads of people liking what you've been doing today. Marcy says beautiful card. We haven't got a, we do already have a winner. Now, I think we all know which one was going to win. Because it's this one.
Yes!
Yay.
Excellent!
This is great. This is really beautiful. So it looks just like an ordinary card, first of all, but then when you open it up, it's 3 of those I call it a tricept. I don't think it is.
It's a triceptor card. Becky named it so it must be right.
It sounds like it's something from Transformers, doesn't it?
And the thing is, if you missed that, if you've just joined us late in the show and you missed us doing that, the great thing is this show lasts forever.
Yeah.
So you can go back, or if you want to get these dies ordered, I'll be with you with them on Tuesday morning, they launch. So I'm not here for wake up call, but I will be in for the launch day show at 2 o'clock. So you can watch the launch day show. Might have to get ready and do that demo again if everyone loves it that much. But if you've seen it, you were in for first look, you know what's happening. So
fantastic. I love this. I think everyone is really enjoying what we've seen today. And we've done a double whammy today with the first look. So we've given you these ones which are Halloween, which are going to be launching on Tuesday. And then we've had the Christmas corners, which are going to be launching on Friday. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. Myself and Sara are here all day today and tomorrow. So do make sure you get any of your questions in, any ideas for new shows. And this is the opportunity for you to take full advantage of that. We are going to have a quick break and we will see you back in just an hour's time.